First contact folly. The Nebula Seeker drifted silently at the edge of the Sol system, its adaptive camouflage rendering it virtually invisible against the backdrop of space. Captain Zorix, Tuval stood on the observation deck, all four of his amber eyes fixed on the third planet. Fascinating, he murmured, his scaled skin shifting to a contemplative blue hue. Their atmospheric pollution levels have decreased by 12% since our last survey. Perhaps they finally developed sustainable energy solutions. Science Officer Nex floated beside him, her translucent tentacles gently pulsing with bioluminescent light. The humans continue to surprise us, Captain. Their technological growth rate exceeds our predictive models by 32.7%. Yet they remain confined to their planet and nearby satellite, Security Chief Drex noted, mandibles clicking with mild disdain. No FTL capabilities. No unified planetary government. Just squabbling primates with nuclear weapons. The Galactic Scientific Consortium had classified Earth as a Class C developing world, fascinating but ultimately primitive. For over 2 centuries, research vessels like the Nebula Seeker had observed humanity from a distance, cataloging their peculiar behaviors and unpredictable technological leaps. Their entertainment broadcasts are particularly intriguing. Communications specialist Lyri chimed in, her holographic form flickering slightly as she accessed the ship's database. They seem obsessed with fictional scenarios about alien contact. Drex snorted, a spray of pheromones signaling his amusement. And in 78.3% of these scenarios, they defeat the technologically superior visitors through some implausible means. Cultural arrogance is common among isolated species, Nex replied. Though I must admit, humans demonstrate unusual creativity in their problem-solving approaches. Captain Zorix turned from the viewport. Continue passive monitoring. Standard protocols apply. No direct interaction, no interference. The consortium is clear on this matter. Captain. Ensign Vix interrupted, his youthful enthusiasm evident in his vibrating antennae. I've been analyzing their communications networks, and I've identified an optimal specimen collection opportunity. The bridge fell silent, even suggesting specimen collection violated dozens of consortium directives. Explain yourself, Ensign, Zorix said, his skin darkening to a warning crimson. The humans remain unaware of our existence, and our technology far exceeds their detection capabilities. Vix continued, either oblivious to or ignoring the captain's color change. A brief collection mission would provide invaluable biological data. We could return the specimen before they even realize it's missing. Absolutely not, Nex interjected. Direct interference is forbidden for Class C worlds, especially those demonstrating Earth's potential for rapid advancement. And may I remind you, Drex added, that humans are classified as a death world species. Their planet's gravity, atmospheric composition, and radiation levels are hostile by consortium standards. Their biology reflects these extremes. Vix's antennae drooped momentarily before perking up again, which is precisely why direct study would be so valuable. Think of the medical applications alone. Their cellular regeneration capabilities are unmatched in known space. This discussion is over, Ensign, Captain Zorix stated firmly. Return to your station and... The ship shuddered violently, alarms blaring across all decks. What was that? Zorix demanded, steadying himself against the command console. Drex's talons flew across the security interface. Unauthorized shuttle launch from Bay 3. It's heading toward the human planet. Who authorized this? Zorix roared, his skin now pulsing between crimson and black, the Valdorian equivalent of apoplectic rage. Tracking transponder identifies Ensign Vix as the pilot, Lyri reported, her holographic form expanding with alarm. Nex's tentacles writhed in distress. He was just here. How did he? He created a holographic duplicate, Drex growled. Basic security deception. I should have detected it. Captain Zorix slammed a scaled fist onto the console. Track that shuttle. Prepare for immediate intercept. But it was too late. The small craft had already entered Earth's atmosphere, its stealth systems activated. On the view screen, they watched helplessly as it descended toward a landmass the humans called North America. By the void, Nex whispered, he's actually going to do it. 12 excruciating minutes later, the shuttle reappeared on their sensors, accelerating away from Earth and back toward the Nebula Seeker. Shuttle approaching docking bay, Leary announced. Ensign Vix is requesting emergency clearance, claiming mission success. Success, Drex hissed. He has violated the prime directive of non-interference. He should be spaced immediately. Security team to docking bay, Zorix ordered. I want Vix detained the moment that shuttle door opens. The captain, along with Nex and Drex, rushed to the docking bay, arriving just as the shuttle completed its landing sequence. The security team stood ready, stun weapons charged. The shuttle door hissed open, and Vix stumbled out, his antennae twitching with what could only be described as manic excitement. Captain, you won't believe what I've discovered. The humans are even more remarkable up close. And I brought proof. He gestured proudly behind him. From the shuttle emerged a small human figure, blinking against the ship's artificial light. A female juvenile, approximately 15 Earth years in age by Nex's rapid assessment. Her dark hair was pulled back from her face, and she wore what appeared to be educational institution attire. Her expression wasn't fearful, as might be expected, but rather displayed intense curiosity and calculation. You absolute void-brained fool, Zorix breathed, his scales draining to an ashen gray. You've abducted a human child. Not abducted, Captain. Borrowed. Vix corrected, seemingly oblivious to the severity of his actions. I've simply brought a specimen for brief study. We'll return her before anyone notices she's gone. The human stepped forward, eyes sweeping across the alien crew with remarkable composure. My name is Mia Chen, she said clearly. I'm a junior at Westlake High School, and according to Article 4 of the United Nations Protocol on Extraterrestrial Contact, which I'm guessing you're violating, I have rights as a sentient being. Nex's tentacles froze in shock. She knows about extraterrestrial contact protocols. Theoretical protocols, Mia corrected. We've been preparing for first contact for decades, though I have to say, being kidnapped from my physics lab wasn't exactly the scenario we'd wargamed. Observed, Vix exclaimed, antennae twitching in confusion. That's impossible. Our stealth technology is based on bending light around a metamaterial surface. Maya finished for him. Creates a pretty effective invisibility field, but you still displace air when you move, and your shuttle left a thermal signature my school's science club weather satellite picked up immediately. The aliens stared at her in stunned silence. You have orbital detection capabilities at your educational facilities? Drex finally asked. Mia shrugged. Science Magnet School. Our club advisor works for NASA. It's just a CubeSat project. Captain Zorix's composure was rapidly deteriorating. Vix, do you understand what you've done? You've exposed our existence to a pre-contact civilization. Just one human, Vix protested weakly. And I was careful about. My entire physics class saw your shuttle. Mia interrupted. And unlike in your movies, our first response wasn't to panic, but to document everything. 20 different smartphones recorded your arrival, and the footage is already trending on multiple social platforms. She pulled a small device from her pocket and held it up. Plus, I've been live streaming since I got on board your ship. She has a communication device. Drex lunged forward, but Mia easily sidestepped his movement. Something that should have been impossible given Arthosian reflexes were 3 times faster than human capabilities. Too late, she said. The stream is being archived in real time to secure servers. And before you ask, yes, I enabled location sharing before you grabbed me. Nex drifted closer, her scientific curiosity momentarily overriding her horror. How are you adapting so quickly to our environment? The gravity modulation alone should be disorienting to your species. I do competitive gymnastics, Maya replied with another shrug. Good spatial awareness. Plus, your artificial gravity is actually lighter than Earth's. Makes me feel like I could do a standing triple backflip if I wanted to. The ship's alarm system suddenly blared to life. Captain, Leary's voice came over the comm system. We're detecting multiple launches from the planet's surface. Primitive chemical propulsion, but they appear to be military in nature and are on direct intercept trajectories. Impossible, Drex whispered. Earth has no space combat capabilities. Mia smiled, and for the first time, the alien crew recognized an expression that transcended species differences, predatory satisfaction. That's what we wanted you to think, she said calmly. Those primitive chemical rockets are just the first response unit. You might want to check your long-range sensors for objects leaving lunar orbit. Captain Zorix staggered back, his worst fears confirmed as Leary's next report came through. Captain, massive energy signatures detected launching from the far side of the human satellite. Readings suggest advanced propulsion systems and weapons locks on our position. You see, Mia continued, seemingly enjoying their confusion. Humans have a saying, prepare for the worst, hope for the best. We've been detecting extraterrestrial observation for decades. Did you really think we weren't preparing? A new alarm sounded, this one indicating an unauthorized access to the ship's systems. The human has compromised our network. Drex shouted, rushing to a nearby terminal. She's broadcasting our location, specifications, and defensive capabilities. Actually, that's not me, Maya said, leaning casually against the shuttle. Your systems were breached the moment Ensign Grabby here entered Earth's atmosphere. We've been mapping your entire digital architecture for the past 30 minutes. The magnitude of the disaster was finally dawning on Captain Zorix. Centuries of careful, covered observation, undone in less than an hour by one impulsive ensign. Captain, Leary's voice now carried unmistakable fear. I'm receiving a transmission from the approaching Earth vessels. Audio only. Before Zorix could respond, a deep, authoritative voice filled the docking bay. Attention, unidentified alien vessel. This is Admiral Helena Chen of the United Earth Defense Force. You have abducted a citizen of Earth, my daughter. You have exactly 5 minutes to prepare for boarding or face immediate defensive action. And yes, we can penetrate your shields. Mia's smile widened. I should probably mention my mom commands Earth's first interstellar defense fleet. She's been running war games against theoretical alien invasions since before I was born. She glanced at her device again. 4 minutes, 50 seconds remaining. What's it going to be, Captain? As Captain Zorix looked from the human child to his terrified crew, one thought crystallized with perfect clarity. They had made a terrible, terrible mistake. The supposedly primitive humans weren't defenseless prey. They were apex predators who had been watching the Watchers all along. And now, they had been provoked. The wrath of Earth. 243 kilometers above Earth, a flotilla of sleek vessels emerged from concealed lunar hangars. Their hulls, composed of radar-absorbing metamaterials, reflected no light despite the unfiltered solar glare. Inside the command ship Prometheus, Admiral Helena Chen stood rigidly at the tactical display, her face illuminated by the holographic projection of the alien vessel. Targeting solutions confirmed on all key systems, reported Commander Jackson, his fingers dancing across the weapons console. Their shield harmonics have been analyzed and countermeasures prepared. Life signs, the Admiral asked, her voice betraying no emotion despite the fact that her only child was aboard the alien craft. 17 non-terrestrial biosignatures of at least 4 distinct species, replied the science officer. And 1 human. Mia's tracker is still active and indicates stable vital signs. Admiral Chen nodded once. Status of the boarding teams. Strike Team Alpha ready in the launch bay, replied Captain Vega, the Marine commander. Her powered exoskeleton hummed with barely restrained energy. breaching protocols reviewed and equipment optimized based on the data Mia's stream provided. For 70 years, humanity had prepared in secret. The first confirmed extraterrestrial observation craft had been detected in 1989, though many suspected earlier visitations. Rather than announce this discovery to the public, a coalition of global powers had established Project Sentinel, a classified initiative to monitor the monitors and prepare for any possible first contact scenario, including the worst-case scenarios. "The alien vessel is hailing us," reported Communications Officer Lin. "On screen," ordered Admiral Chen. The tactical display shifted to reveal the interior of the alien ship. A scaled four-eyed being stood at center frame, flanked by security personnel of a different species resembling armored arthropods. "I am Captain Zorix Tival of the Galactic Scientific Consortium research vessel Nebula Seeker," the alien began, voice modulated through translation software. "We deeply regret this unauthorized action taken by one of our crew. The human juvenile was collected without sanction, in direct violation of our non-interference directives." Collected? Admiral Chen's voice could have frozen hydrogen. "You abducted a citizen of Earth, a minor. This constitutes an act of aggression against our planet. A terrible misunderstanding," Zorix insisted, his scales shifting to a placating blue tone. Ensign Vix acted alone, against explicit orders. "We were preparing to return the human immediately when you contacted us." "Mom, they're lying," came Mia's voice suddenly. The camera angle widened to show her standing off to the side, looking remarkably composed for someone in her situation. "Their shuttle was specifically designed for specimen collection. This wasn't an impulsive action. They've been planning this capability." On the Prometheus, Admiral Chen allowed herself a small smile of pride. Her daughter had been raised in the Sentinel program's shadow, trained since childhood in first contact protocols and intelligence gathering. What had seemed like paranoid preparation to many of her colleagues was now proving invaluable. "Captain Tival, you have 2 minutes remaining before we commence boarding," she stated flatly. "Power down your weapons and propulsion systems immediately." The alien captain's scales darkened with alarm. "Admiral, while we acknowledge this grave error, your species is classified as pre-FTL. Your technology should not be capable of." "Your classification system is flawed," Admiral Chen interrupted, "as is your intelligence gathering. We detected your observation vessels decades ago and have been monitoring your activities in our system." "Impossible," hissed one of the arthropod security officers. "Our stealth systems are based on outdated assumptions about our detection capabilities," finished Commander Jackson. "We've been tracking your movements since you entered the heliopause 3 weeks ago." Aboard the Nebula Seeker, Science Officer Nex drifted forward, her luminous tentacles pulsing with agitation. "Admiral Chen, if I may, our records indicate humanity has not yet achieved unified planetary governance. Your defense force claims to represent Earth, yet our monitoring shows divided nation-states." A new figure stepped into frame beside Admiral Chen, an elderly man wearing the insignia of the United Nations. "Secretary General Okonkwo of the United Nations," he introduced himself. "While Earth maintains its cultural and political diversity, we unified our defense protocols under the Sentinel Accords, following first detection of extraterrestrial observation. Your presence has been the greatest unifying force in human history." On the alien vessel, Security Chief Drex clicked his mandibles in what appeared to be their species' equivalent of a nervous swallow. "Captain, our sensors are now detecting multiple launch events from the planet's surface." "Additional defensive measures," Admiral Chen explained calmly. "Your window for peaceful resolution is closing, Captain Tuval." "We surrender," blurted Ensign Vix, pushing forward into the frame, his antennae vibrating with terror. "Please don't destroy us. I just wanted to study." "Silence, Ensign," Zorix snapped before turning back to the transmission. "Admiral, we accept your boarding party and will power down non-essential systems as requested. I ask only that you recognize this incident was not sanctioned by the consortium and should not reflect on interspecies relations moving forward. That will be determined during formal diplomatic proceedings, Secretary General Okonkwo stated. For now, our priority is the safe return of Ms. Chen. The transmission cut, and aboard the Nebula Seeker, chaos erupted. They can't possibly have the technology to breach our hull, Drex insisted, mandibles clicking rapidly. Their most advanced spacecraft barely reached their own satellite. An intentional deception, Nex replied, her scientific mind already piecing together the implications. They allowed us to observe outdated or falsified technological demonstrations while developing their actual capabilities in secret. Captain Zorix turned to where Maya stood, still infuriatingly calm. How long has Earth been capable of space warfare? That's classified, she replied with a slight smile. But I can tell you we haven't been sitting around waiting for aliens to come introduce themselves. Humans tend to prepare for the worst being us. Vix asked, antennae drooping. You did kidnap me, Mia pointed out. Not a great first impression. A heavy thud reverberated through the ship's hull, followed by a high-pitched whine that made the aliens' various sensory appendages twitch in discomfort. They've attached to our docking bay, Leary reported, her holographic form flickering with agitation. They're bypassing our security protocols somehow. I might have helped with that, Mia admitted, tapping her communication device. Your cybersecurity is surprisingly compatible with our quantum encryption methods. Convergent evolution, I guess. Before anyone could respond, the main docking bay doors slid open, revealing a squad of humans in formidable powered armor. Their helmets concealed their faces, but their weapons, a combination of directed energy and kinetic options, were unmistakably pointed at the alien crew. Captain Vega stepped forward, her armor's external speakers amplifying her voice. All non-human personnel stand down and place whatever you use as hands, appendages, or manipulators where we can see them. The security team complied immediately, dropping their weapons. Captain Zorix, with as much dignity as he could muster, lowered himself into what humans might recognize as a non-threatening posture. We surrender our vessel as requested. The human juvenile has not been harmed. I'm fine, Captain Vega, Mia confirmed, stepping toward the human soldiers. Though their artificial gravity is calibrated all wrong, I'm surprised they can even stand upright. Admiral Chen entered the docking bay next, flanked by security personnel. Unlike the Marines, she wore only a standard vacuum-rated uniform, a deliberate display of confidence in their technical superiority. Mom, Mia broke protocol and rushed forward, embracing her mother briefly before stepping back to a professional distance. Their database is incredible. I've already transmitted the access codes I extracted. Their medical technology alone will advance our research by decades. Well done, Admiral Chen replied with the barest hint of a smile before turning her attention to the alien captain. Captain Tuval, your vessel is now under Earth jurisdiction. Your crew will be detained and questioned. The information gathered will determine our next steps regarding your consortium. The consortium spans 27 star systems, Zorix warned, though his posture remained submissive. They will notice our absence eventually. We're counting on it, Secretary General Okonkwo said as he entered the bay, accompanied by a team of civilian scientists. It's time for proper diplomatic relations rather than covert observation. Ensign Vix, unable to contain himself, burst out. But you're just primitive apes. Your civilization is barely 5,000 years old. How could you possibly have developed countermeasures to technology it took us millennia to perfect? One of the human scientists, a woman with silver-streaked hair and a patch identifying her as Dr. Lenberg, laughed outright. Necessity is the mother of invention, and paranoia is a powerful motivator. We've been preparing for hostile aliens since before we had powered flight. We're an adaptable species, added Admiral Chen. And we don't appreciate being studied like laboratory specimens. Science Officer Nex drifted forward cautiously, Your technological development is anomalous by consortium standards. Species typically require twice your developmental timeframe to reach space capability. We had motivation, Dr. Leinberg replied. Our planet has experienced multiple extinction events. Survival is encoded in our DNA. As the human boarding team secured the ship and began a thorough examination of its systems, Captain Zorix was escorted to what appeared to be a makeshift conference area established in his own cargo bay. There, Admiral Chen and Secretary General Okonkwo waited with a document displayed on a portable terminal. "These are our terms," Admiral Chen stated without preamble. "The Nebula Seeker will remain in Earth custody until a formal diplomatic delegation from your consortium arrives. Your crew will be treated according to our xenobiological experts' recommendations for your comfort, but you will not be permitted to leave or communicate externally without supervision. Your vessel's database will be copied and analyzed," continued Okonkwo. "Any technology deemed beneficial to Earth's security or advancement will be appropriated as reparation for this incursion." "And Ensign Vix?" Zorix asked, his scales a mottled pattern of resignation and concern. "Will face charges under Earth law for kidnapping." Admiral Chen replied coldly, "The penalties are severe, but we are not barbarians. He will not be physically harmed." "And what message shall I convey to the consortium when they eventually arrive?" Zorix asked. Secretary General Okonkwo leaned forward. "Tell them that Earth is open to peaceful relations, knowledge exchange, and mutual cooperation, but also make it abundantly clear that we will defend ourselves with overwhelming force if provoked." Additionally, Admiral Chen added, "All future observation of Earth must be conducted with prior notification and permission. Your covert surveillance program ends today." "The consortium has observed thousands of developing worlds," Zorix protested weakly. "Our protocols are designed to prevent cultural contamination." "Your protocols failed the moment you underestimated us," Mia interjected, having joined the group with Dr. Leinberg. "And you're not the first visitors we've had, just the first we've caught." This revelation sent a visible shock through Captain Zorix's entire body. Others have contacted Earth. The humans exchanged glances that confirmed Zorix's suspicion. There was much more to humanity's story than the consortium had ever suspected. "Let's just say," Admiral Chen replied carefully, "that humans have good reason to be cautious about visitors from the stars. The terms of our agreement are non-negotiable." 3 months later, a consortium diplomatic vessel arrived at the edge of the Sol system, responding to Earth's demands transmitted via the captured research ship. They found not a primitive pre-FTL civilization, but a united planet with orbital defense platforms, lunar military bases, and prototype interstellar craft already under construction using adapted consortium technology. In the newly constructed United Earth Diplomatic Center in Geneva, Captain Zorix stood beside Secretary General Okonkwo as the consortium representatives entered. Among them was his former science officer Nex, now elevated to diplomatic liaison due to her experience with humans. "The consortium extends its deepest apologies for the unauthorized actions of the Nebula Seeker crew," began the lead diplomat, a crystalline entity that communicated through light pulses. "We seek peaceful resolution and the return of our personnel and vessel." "We welcome peaceful relations," Okonkwo replied, "but Earth will determine its own place in the galactic community. The terms previously provided remain our starting position for negotiations." As the formal proceedings began, Zorix noticed Mia Chen seated among the Earth delegation, now wearing the insignia of the newly formed Extraterrestrial Research Division. She caught his four-eyed gaze and offered a small smile that somehow conveyed both forgiveness and warning. The message was clear. Humanity would join the galactic community, but on their terms, not as subjects of observation or experimentation. The species that had evolved on a death world, surviving extinction-level events and their own destructive tendencies, would not be underestimated again. Later, as the diplomats took a recess, Nex approached her former captain privately. The consortium is implementing immediate reforms to first contact protocols, she informed him, luminescent tentacles pulsing solemnly. All potentially spacefaring civilizations are being reclassified based on the human paradigm. They fear there are more like Earth out there, Zorix realized. The evolution of paranoid apex predators with cooperative social structures and creative problem-solving appears to be more common than our models suggested. Next confirmed, the humans call it convergent evolution. And what do they call what happened to us? Zorix asked. Nex's tentacles briefly formed the pattern that represented amusement in her species. They have an idiom that has become quite popular in diplomatic circles, she replied. They call it poking the bear. As if on cue, Ensign Vix was led past them, now working under supervision as part of his rehabilitation program. The Cheston scientist glanced nervously at a group of human security personnel nearby. I still don't understand how I could have miscalculated so severely, he muttered. They seemed so primitive, so vulnerable. That, said Admiral Chen, approaching unexpectedly, was exactly what we wanted you to think. The best defense is the one your adversary never sees coming. She handed Zorix a small data crystal, the formal agreement between Earth and the consortium, now ratified by both sides. Consider this a lesson for your people, she added. Never judge a species by its apparent technological level. What you see might just be the tip of the iceberg. As the diplomatic proceedings resumed and humanity took its first official steps onto the galactic stage, one thing became abundantly clear to the watching universe. Earth was not just another world to be studied and catalogued. It was a force to be reckoned with.